Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tales of Three, an all-queer, narrative-driven D&D podcast where your three GMs are also your three PCs. My name is Dusty, my pronouns are they, she, and I play Ivy Nightbreeze Tinkerfey, whose pronouns are she, her. We spent the last 10 minutes doing Dracula impersonations.
Hello, my name is Wayra, my pronouns are she, they, and I play Véres, whose pronouns are he, they, and they spent the last 10 minutes doing Dracula impersonations.
Hello.
And I've been enjoying every second of it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ariana. My pronouns are she, her, and I play Elara Spinelspark, whose pronouns are also she, her, and I want you to listen to my podcast.
Podcast.
A note regarding content warnings. This campaign is a dark fantasy that deals consistently with topics of body horror, complicated relationship dynamics, emotional distress, fantasy violence, gore, mechanized spiders, mental health and illness, profanity, and romantic and sexual relationships. A full list of episode-specific content warnings can always be found in the show notes of each episode. Last time, the three made it through the gates of Ozrin, and Véres took them to the Timeless Tankard, the inn owned by Zath and his wife Nim. As they all ate a delicious meal where Elara finally got some chocolate chip pancakes, their attention was pulled to a high elf man who told a not 100% accurate tale of three unusual strangers who rooted out the cult living in the tunnels. Wanting to stay under the radar, they headed up to Ivy's room, where they went through all the items they had amassed in Grimford. Elara touched a gem that was immediately frozen to her hand, and they were only able to remove it by Ivy casting Control Flame. Véres informed them that gems that come from other planes can hold the power of their element, leaving the group to deduce that the stone was from the ice elemental plane. This prompted Ivy to begin reading the small journal, and they learned that Onyx had kept detailed records of dates when there were magical surges, as well as information about using blood of certain lineages alongside arcane equations to open portals. As Ivy looked through the items again, she noticed that two of the tourmaline gems were from the Feywild. Elara noted that the energy coming from Delilah seemed to be feeding the portal to the ethereal plane, and they figured out that the cult was using the blood of people whose lineage did not originate on the plane of Elosora to open portals to other planes. With the information they found, Véres and Elara put together that Grimford was likely built on a nexus point, a point where ley lines cross over, forming high magic areas, making it easy to open portals there. With their heads filled with lots of new information, they finished divvying up the loot and went to bed, and we pick up now the next morning.
So who do we think is up first, guys?
Probably Véres.
Véres.
I just wanted to give you all the opportunity to get up early.
We would
Good
not
luck with
like to-
that.
We don't want to take it.
Yeah, so I do think that Véres is up first. Bright and early, before the sun even is really up. He's gonna go out and work out, and he's gonna come back and get ready for the day. I do think that he went down to check in with Zath and Nimue to help out for the day, or over his stay here, and is currently in the kitchen making breakfast.
He's making brekkie.
Yeah. Is there anything, do any of you wake up in the interim?
I think that Elara sleeps in, and when she wakes up, she does not come downstairs.
How's Ivy doing?
Ivy wakes up from her trance. I think she gets ready for the day. Scoops up Bia and heads downstairs for some breakfast.
Alright, well, Ivy, you head downstairs, the 2 flights of stairs, and the tavern is fairly quiet for the morning. There's only a couple of people scattered around getting like a meal, or at some point some look like they just woke up from a drunken stupor at their table. Half-empty tankards still strewn around them. You do see Nim at the bar top, just like going through the books for last night. You can hear the giggles of 2 kids and the footsteps of 2 of them running around in circles in the back. There is a younger purple tiefling sitting at the bar eating breakfast, talking to Nim with a book open.
Ivy goes and sits at the bar a couple spaces down from the kid.
Awesome. Nim sees you and immediately turns to you and says, "Good morning, Ivy.
Good morning.
Can I get you anything?"
Can I have chocolate chip pancakes, please?
You absolutely can. Anything else I can get you? We have tea on the go.
I'll have some tea. And then can I get bacon?
Sure. How do you like your bacon?
She like motions to Bia. She's like, it really doesn't matter.
Okay, fair enough. Does Bia need water as well?
Sure.
Cool, I'll get that for you right away.
Thank you.
How'd you sleep?
Fine.
Good. Will you be needing room service later?
No, that's okay.
All right, well, I'll get that right up for you. And she gives you a small smile and heads out back.
I think she sits there for a moment, and then she turns to the kid and she goes, "What are you reading?"
The kid looks up at you, and this kid looks like the spitting image of Zaph. The only difference is that they have blue eyes and black sclera instead of the purple that his dad has, and gray horns instead of black, which, by the way, look way too big for his head right now. And he's kind of absently rubbing in his neck as he was reading. He looks up at you at your inquiry, and like his eyes are a little wide, as if he's surprised that you're talking to him, or maybe he was too deep into the book to realize you were there. And he says, "It's just some intro to science, just basics."
Do you want to be a scientist?
I'm not really sure. I find science interesting, but I also, he looks around, I also kind of enjoy magic, so
Magic's a lot of fun.
it is, isn't it? I really enjoy both, so it's hard for me to choose.
I think that's totally fair.
They nod and they turn the page. Like, I'm currently reading up on robotics.
Oh,
Yeah.
you should talk to my friend Elara.
They tilt their head and then wince a bit and straighten their head. Like, sorry, who's Elara?
My friend, she came in with me last night. She'll probably be down at some point.
Oh, the one with the red hair.
Yes, and the green jacket.
Right, yes. I do recall seeing her. Is she a scientist?
She is. She's an artificer.
Cool. Do you think she'd be okay if I asked her some questions?
Probably. She's very nice.
Cool. And are you,
Nice?
they do like finger wiggles?
I don't know what that means.
Like, magically inclined?
Oh, yes.
Cool.
Very much so. I tried doing the artificer thing growing up and it just did not work out.
Not your cup of tea, eh?
I was awful at it.
People can't be good at everything, I suppose.
That's very true.
It's cool that you do magic. How long have you been doing it?
As long as I can remember, really.
Cool. They seem kind of like a little happy. They're kicking their legs now. And they turn back to their book.
What's your name, by the way?
Oh, I'm sorry, that was rude of me. My name is Ember.
My name is Ivy.
Nice to meet you, Ivy.
Nice to meet you too.
Will you be, in town for a long time?
At least 4 days.
Cool. There's lots of cool stuff to do around here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, explore a little bit today.
Oh, do you think?
Maybe.
What kind of stuff do you like?
I don't really get out much.
Ah, cool. This will be fun for you.
Ah, cool, a shut-in.
They can relate. He's like, I don't either.
I actually spent a lot of my time growing up like you, with my nose in a book.
And I think they put their book aside and like look at you now, kind of like intrigued. I hope this isn't rude to say, but you didn't really give me shut-in book girl vibes.
She laughs a bit and she goes, part of me is curious and part of me also doesn't want to know, I think.
It's knowledge is a blessing and a curse, I hear.
Very much so, yes.
Well,
But yeah, no, there wasn't a lot for me to do growing up. It was mostly classes and reading.
well, that sounds boring. Too much of the same thing over time is really boring to me.
Yeah, but when it's all you ever really know.
Fair enough. I don't know if you like art or anything, but the bakery in town usually hosts like paint nights.
Really?
Yeah, I hear that they're doing like a trial run of like adult paint nights where like they include some wine and snacks.
I love painting.
Well, that might be right up your alley then.
I think I'm going to have to drag Véres and Elara to that. Thank you.
I would pay actual money to see Véres paint.
Really?
He does not strike me as a painting person.
No, I can see that. But I'm going to make them do it.
If you can make them do anything, I will laugh a lot.
She laughs.
Like, the only person I've seen successfully make him do anything, besides us kids, is like Dad and Mom.
Can I let you in on a little secret?
Please.
I can be very annoying.
I like you.
I think it is at this time that, what are your passive perceptions?
16. You don't have my passive taped on your wall?
No, I don't.
12 is his passive.
So, Ivy, you notice first, you hear the little mechanical clicking clacking of Norman coming down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Ember hears it a little bit later and watches as a mechanical spider climbs up on the bar top.
Hi, Norman.
Whoa! Ember's just like, that's so cool. Is that mechanical? And just leans in to look at it.
Yeah, that's Norman.
Norman just makes their way to... Where is Zath and or Nim?
Bia's locked on Norman, just so you're aware.
Nim is out back with Véres and Zath in the kitchen.
Okay, so Norman goes into the kitchen because he was programmed to find Zath or Nim.
Bia follows.
And Véres will see as well. Norman scuttles in, takes one of his legs and taps a flat, smooth rock that's been placed into a slot on top of his head. And you just hear... Someone count down 6 seconds.
All right, ready?
You just hear, hi, this is Elara Spindlespark in room, whatever room I'm in. And I was wondering if you could
6.
maybe have... That's it! That's it!
Sorry, what was it she said?
Hi, this is Elara Spindlespark in room, whatever. I was wondering if you could have... And that's it. It cuts off. And it just keeps repeating itself.
I think that in the kitchen you just hear dead ass silence for a few minutes and the sound repeating, and then you hear Nim laugh uproariously.
That's what happens.
She's just fucking dead. She looks at Véres and Nim says, Véres, would you be a dear and go see what your friend wants?
She greatly underestimated how long 6 seconds are. Greatly.
I think Véres, he as he plates the pancakes and stuff, he nods. It's like, I can certainly do that. Can one of you give this to Ivy?
Bia picks up Norman and starts flying with him.
Aww. Norman's just moving all 8 of his legs. Like he's still walking.
She's holding him so gingerly.
Aww.
But she definitely flies Norman up to Elara's room.
The door's
still
cracked.
saying the 6-second message.
Yep.
So, Elara, does Bia wait? Is the door shut to your room, Elara?
No, it's cracked open for Norman.
So
Bia flies in. Norman spouting off, hi, this is Elara in room, I don't know what. Could you please have...
And then it cuts off.
Could you please have... hi, this is Elara Spindlespark in room, I don't know what. Could you please have... hi.
Elara, what do you do when you hear the short message repeat?
Flying towards you.
She looks up and she puts both of her hands out.
Bia gingerly drops Norman into your hands.
And she says good morning to Bia. And she takes out the rock and sighs. And she turns it off. I think she has laid out a lot of stuff on the ground. And she's just setting up different things, different projects, different experiments, and things that she wants to start going over today.
Ivy, in front of you, down at the bar, you get a plate of pancakes you requested and some tea. It's red in coloration. It smells amazing. It smells like fruit, like raspberries, and a side of different assortments of cut up fruits. Véres sets it down in front of you, says, good morning.
Good morning, Véres.
I'll be right back. I'm just going to go see what she wants.
She probably wants chocolate chip pancakes, if we're being honest.
Oh, you're probably right. Maybe I'll make her breakfast before I head up then. He disappears back around. You notice that he is wearing an apron and his hair is tied up in a tight bun. After a few minutes, he comes back out with more food and tea and heads upstairs.
The door's cracked.
He knocks on it.
If you're a pickpocket, you're not allowed in.
There's a sighs.
The silence is deafening.
Elara, it's just me.
Oh, hi.
May I come in?
Yeah, of course.
He pushes the door open with his foot.
You see a bunch of shit all over the room.
Well, what in the hells are you doing in here?
I am about to start working on projects.
Alright. Would you like some food before you start working on projects?
Yes.
He sets down the chocolate chip pancakes in front of you.
She smiles. Thank you.
And a small bowl of like yogurt and fruit, and then tea.
My message got cut off. I didn't realize how long 6 seconds was. Do you think that you can ask, Zath or Nim if they can bring up like a table or something?
How large of a table do you want?
She looks at her desk, the desk, which is already like filled with things. Just big enough to fit in the corner, I guess, and she points to like a corner of the room. Just so that like everything isn't on the floor. So it's not like a tripping hazard, or anything like that.
Sure, give me a few.
Thanks.
No worries. And he heads out. A few minutes later, he comes back with the table and sets it down. So you're planning to just hole up in here all day?
Mm-hmm. That is the plan. I have a lot of things to do. A lot of research that has been neglected, and I need to refill pretty much all of my things because I've used them up. And I want to see if I can figure out some more information about the gems. So I'll be pretty busy probably for like the next couple of days at least.
Is this a distraction for you?
No. A distraction from what?
Maybe I'm just reading into it too much. I'm just worried. Maybe you're not giving yourself time to process everything that happened.
I am processing right now. I'll be fine. I am fine.
Insight check. Does she look fine to him?
Well, I got a 6 on the die. So.
Well, wow.
Oh no, I got a 7 total.
Somehow I beat your deception. I got an 11.
Nice.
On the die.
She looks like she either didn't sleep or she was crying. Her eyes are like red and kind of puffy.
I think that he gently closes the door a little more. Not all the way. Are you sure that you're fine?
Yeah, I really do have so many things that I have to be like, just a lot of things that I have to be working on, So I'm just gonna focus on that for a little bit.
All right. I think that he wants to push the subject, but he doesn't. Says, okay. Well, if you need anything or you would like to talk, I'm around.
She nods. Thanks for breakfast.
Sure. He heads out the door.
She goes back to work.
He heads back down to the kitchen, not to the kitchen, to the bar where Ivy's sitting. And he posts up beside her.
She gives him a 2-fingered salute.
How'd you sleep?
Fine.
Good.
It was in a bed, so wildly better than sleeping on the cold, hard ground. You?
About the same. It's always easier to sleep with a bed, isn't it?
So you cook?
Sort of. I do. I don't make a habit of it.
But you know how to make chocolate chip pancakes.
To be honest, Nim walked me through it very quickly.
Fair enough. I'll give you a pass.
In fact, she was mostly the one who made it. I did make Bia's bacon, though.
And she very much appreciates it. You look over and it's gone. Bia's like on her back, her belly like full.
Just snorts. No, I've never made pancakes before, so she had to take over.
And they were good.
Good.
So what do you got planned for today?
Probably a lot of reading.
You said you're working on something?
Yeah, it's a little project I've been working on.
Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to keep your secrets?
I think maybe I'll keep my secrets. If it's all the same to you.
All right.
What about you? Up to anything in particular?
She shakes her head. Probably just going to walk around.
You're going to go walk around when you don't know how money works?
Don't have to buy anything.
But what if you do?
Then I give them the money. I mean, do you want to have an economics lesson right now, or?
No, it's too early in the morning for that.
That's what I thought.
Well, I hope you enjoy sightseeing for a little while.
Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, just so you know, one night we are going to go and paint and drink.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, Ember told me about a really cool thing that a place is doing where you can paint and have fun and drink, and we're going to do it, the three of us.
Oh, are we now? He looks over your shoulder at Ember, and Ember is looking the other direction.
She just nods and she goes, "Yep. So just be prepared that one night we're doing it, and you should know me by now that you will do it because I will annoy you into doing it. So I would just give up now.
Depending on the night.
What night works best for you?
I guess you'll have to see when the next event is hosted, yeah?
I'll do that today.
We really should go over things before you go out and have a night to yourself on the town. I do think you should, though.
What do you want to go over?
You know, maybe say Xolin properly. Try not to get into too deeper conversations as to like where you're from or how your political structure works.
I mean, we both have monarchies.
We do.
It's just mine's a queen. And yours is a king, who I need to talk to, by the way.
Yours is also a king.
What?
You're saying you're from Xolin.
Oh. Yes, extollen.
Xolin.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no T in there, Ivy.
Extollen.
Right. Well, if you're going to go out and about and decide for whatever reason to go in and check on Elara, she seems to be quite busy with projects.
I think I'll swing in there on my way out. Just to, give her a little pep talk.
I'll say the same thing I did to her, to you. If you need to talk about anything at all that happened, I'm around.
She nods.
It can't have been easy, so...
You know that offer also extends to you, right?
Thank you. He doesn't say thank you, he says it's appreciated. Because last night you said you don't like to be thanked, so...
He goes to say it now.
Yeah, he does. He goes to say thank you, he says it's appreciated.
She brings her hand up. I mean, I don't really think it's sunk in as of right now, for being 100% honest. But ask me again after I've slept in a bed for a couple nights.
Fair enough. I'll ask you both again, probably, in a little while. He gets up, says, I'm going to be working around the tavern sporadically over the next few days. When you find out when paint night is, just let me know.
Sounds good.
And then he gets up and goes back to work. He'll take the empty plates from you and bring them out back.
She looks at Ember.
Ember turns his head to you.
She just sort of shrugs. And she goes, I know it's Xolin. It's just funnier this way.
Oh, I can't believe. He just starts laughing. She heads upstairs?
Yeah, she heads upstairs and she gets ready. And then she does swing into Elara's room. She knocks. Not a pickpocket.
Come in.
She comes in. Bia flies in.
Hey.
Lands next to wherever Norman is.
Norman's just chilling on the ground.
Bia also chills on the ground then.
Elara's also on the ground.
Ivy looks down at her.
Hey.
Hey, do you need anything? I'm going out.
No. Where are you going?
Around. To see what there is to see.
Okay. I'll be here.
Véres said that you were going to be here for a while.
I have a lot of projects to do.
All right. Just letting you know that one night we are going to, the three of us, go and paint and drink or whatever. There's like a little thing that we can go do. And I already got Véres to agree to it, so...
We'll see.
I'm going to tell you the same thing I told him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very annoying. So you might as well just give up and say yes now.
We'll see.
She nods. I guess, just let me know if you need me to grab you any parts or tools or anything.
Oh, thanks. I think I have a lot of the things that I need. Unless you want to go to the bottom of the lake and grab me a pearl while you're out. Or two, or like 3 or 4, honestly. However many you can get. Oh, okay.
I'm not going into the water.
Okay. Well, then I think I'm okay.
All right.
Enjoy your day out.
I will see you later. And she picks up Bia and walks out.
With Ivy going out and exploring the town, and Véres helping out around the tavern, Elara kind of working on projects on her own, I think that we will end our first day in Ozrin. Unless anyone has anything they want to do.
Nope. Elara is up in the room.
Okay, well, something to note for all of us, including listeners, we did level up to level 4.
Hey!
Wahoo!
And I think over the next few days of downtime, Véres will continue to work around the tavern and giving Ivy and Elara kind of their space to just chill out.
I think maybe a couple days. Ivy and Bia just kind of hang around downstairs for the most part. Ivy talking to Bia, Bia responding. I do think that she attempts to make conversation with Véres, but I think she's a little more awkward than you've known her to be. She's definitely like really in her head about something.
I think that concerns him a little, more than a little bit. He doesn't want to pry too much. I think that he started to do the prying in the first couple of days and realized they needed some time to like process things. So for now, he's just going to leave them to their own devices, hoping maybe they'll say something when they're ready. That doesn't stop him from kind of like doing some work around though, and like saying hi or talking to them when, you know, he's not distracted, as he currently is with the twins, who are both deciding to use him as a jungle gym as he walks kind of like from the back area. There's a door leading to the backyard area that this inn has. And he walks through, and as he ducks through, you kind of see the head of one of the twins on his back, and you see the arms around his neck, and she's laughing uproariously as he like ducks down so much that she almost flips over the front of him. And the other one is kind of like under his arms like a sack of potatoes as he tries to climb up his chest, also giggling uproariously. And he seems to be smiling a little bit, distracted by them.
Ivy laughs at that when she sees that. She does giggle. I also wanted to mention that when she notices somebody's bringing up a plate of chocolate chip pancakes, she intercepts them and brings it up herself.
Aww.
Yeah, so I think she intercepts maybe one of the twins who was going to bring up the pancakes, and she just sort of literally just lifts it from their hands and gives like a 2-fingered salute as she walks away.
I think he pouts. And all you hear is, "Mom, the guest took the pancakes. What else do I have to do? Can I go play?"
Can I go play?
And she walks the pancakes up. I imagine Bia favoring walking sometimes more than flying.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's just pitter-pattering along behind Ivy.
I love it.
Ivy knocks on Elara's door, holding this plate of pancakes.
I think that her door is mostly cracked open so that Norman can do her bidding. And she doesn't have to like move from her spot. Yeah, to open the door. Because I think that you have all seen him on numerous occasions. She's got her 6-second rock down to like 6 seconds where she just is like, "Can I get some pancakes?"
Elara, here, pancakes, please.
Yes, exactly. And the room number, as if they don't know what room she's in by now. But yeah, so you knock on the door and it kind of opens a little bit, and you hear from inside the room, she's like, come in.
Ivy pushes the door open. Is it afternoon, morning, night? What is it right now?
Elara takes pancakes whenever.
Whenever and wherever.
I'd say it's probably like nearing afternoon, because Elara likes to sleep in, you know.
So she opens the door and she's standing there and she goes, good afternoon, Elara. I've got your pancakes.
Oh, thank you. And you see she's at the window, and the window is open, and she's got like 5 jars lined up, and they're all corked, and like the sun is shining in. And you see it's that like mossy green paste that she, you know, now is her salve, all lined up there on the window. And she just seemed to be like kind of watching it. And she's got like a little notepad in her hand, and she takes some notes and she throws it on her bed when you come in. And you see Norman is laying on the bed as well in like a little patch of sunlight. She's like, "Hey, thanks." And she takes the pancakes from you.
She nods and intercepts Bia, who is attempting to get onto the bed to see Norman.
She can go on the bed if she wants to.
She just scoops the little dragon up, who makes a noise of protest.
Elara goes, "You can let her go if you want. They can just hang out, you know?"
She shrugs and lets Bia down, who gives Ivy a look like, "Yeah, bitch."
She's like, how fucking dare you?
How dare you? Norman's my friend. Yeah, she hops up on the bed and like curls around Norman and starts to sleep.
In the sunlight. That's cute.
Ivy stands there a little bit and she goes, so what are you working on?
Oh, I'm just trying to repopulate my nano-organisms in the salve. We used like a lot of it in like a week.
We did.
And if they can't reproduce fast enough, then we can potentially run out. So I figured it's a good time to, kind of let them do that. And this window is actually really good for it because the sun hits it just right for like a while. They can kind of incubate in there. So that's good.
The paste is alive?
The paste is alive. Mm-hmm.
And it went in my body?
Well, yeah, I guess some of them probably got in. But you feel better?
I do. I'm not knocking that. I'm just wondering, do they stay?
Well, I mean, usually they just, they eat the necrotic tissue and then I wipe them away and then they go. But I guess if I never really thought that deep about whether or not they stay inside of your wound once it closes. And she like picks up her notepad and like writes something down on it. Like that's a good project to investigate for later.
She nods. I think she rubs where she got hurt and had used the paste, like a lot of the paste.
You feel like a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
She like absentmindedly does it. Like she's not even like consciously doing it.
Does it hurt still?
No, not at all. Not at all. No. All right. Well, I'll leave you to it then.
She kind of nods and she like looks away and she goes, how does like the rest of you feel? Like not the physical parts,
Like the emotional parts?
Yeah, like the parts that make you want to like cry maybe and stuff,
Raw, I think, like a live wire.
She nods. I just can't imagine waking up chained to an altar about to be sacrificed, especially if I was in a new world essentially that I had never been to. It's not a very warm welcome, and it must have really, really sucked,
I will say the slab of concrete was not very comfortable.
She nods.
But I assume neither were meat hooks, so...
No, they really make your shoulders and your chest hurt and make you feel like you can't really breathe, It was really scary.
It was really... Did you think you were going to die too?
I think so, for a minute, and then like a bunch of other minutes later, but, well, I guess in a way, I think I was maybe a little bit luckier because I wasn't completely by myself, I don't know what I would have done if I opened my eyes and Véres wasn't there. And if I opened my eyes and I just saw a bunch of people, so I'm sorry that you were alone,
I mean, you didn't, you didn't put yourself on those meat hooks, so it's not like it was, a choice that you made.
No. No. I just, and like she looks up at you because I think she hasn't been looking or making like any eye contact. And she goes, I think you're really very brave, And I just wanted to tell you that, because I was thinking about it and I figured I should just tell you, that.
Well, that's, very nice to hear because I feel like a coward, really. And I think when you look at her, her eyes are kind of like filled with tears and she's trying not to cry.
I mean, I don't think you're a coward at all. You literally came to an entire different plane by yourself. And then she looks at Bia, and I know that you weren't by yourself, but I could never do that, you know?
I didn't really have a choice. But, Elara, I would like to not be presumptuous here, and if I am, just tell me, it's fine. But I'm glad I'm not alone anymore.
She nods her head. I don't think anybody should be alone. And it's really hard for me not to just be by myself right now, you know? But if you need a friend or you need to talk, I will be your friend. And I know Véres will too. He said it, you know, all the time. He's always really worried about how we're both doing. And I think that's really nice of them to just be constantly so worried. So I think too, if you needed a friend, then they will be your friend too. I'm sorry if I was really confused when we first met, you know, because I knew that you were not being truthful about something, and I just couldn't figure it out. Sometimes I have a hard time figuring out those kind of things, and but I get it, you know, I understand why you couldn't just be like, hey, I'm from the Feywild. And so now that I know, I feel a little bit better. And I will do my best to be a friend, you know?
I think Véres would be your friend too.
She nods.
I would really like to be friends. I haven't had a friend for a really long time.
Well, I've only had 4 friends in my life, which I guess in comparison to someone who hasn't had a friend in a really long time, it probably seems like a lot. I feel like people have more than 4 friends in their life though. So I get it, kind of, I guess, you know?
I think she nods. And she goes, do you want to talk about what happened in the tunnels, or do you want to...
She starts aggressively shaking her head, and she like puts her hand out. She goes, no, I just wanted to make sure that you were okay. And I wanted to let you know that I was worried about you, and that I think you're very brave. And I did all that. So that was really great. And I have a lot of, I have so many things that I need to do too now. So, thank you for the pancakes are great. Even when they're cold, and, tell everyone I said hi down there. And she smiles, like, and shrugs.
I think she nods. She also doesn't want to talk about what happened, so she's not gonna push the envelope right now. So, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. Can I give you a hug?
No. I really don't like hugs.
Or people too close in your space?
Shakes her head. No, not until I'm comfortable. And I think that, like, she looks up and, like, kind of, like, glances at you for a second. How did you know?
She shrugs. I'm good at picking up on those kinds of things.
She nods.
I will figure out the equivalent of giving you a hug without touching you in any capacity. But for right now, the sentiment is there.
Ivy, you already know what it is. And she eyes the chocolate chip pancakes.
She laughs and hands them over.
And she goes to say thank you, and then she, like, bites her lip. What do you say when you can't say, when someone asks you not to say thank you to them? Many thanks, friend.
No, not that. You could say something to the effect of, I appreciate you, or acknowledgement, something to that effect.
Acknowledgement, and she nods her head.
And she nods her head back. And I think she leaves Bia on the bed and heads out the door.
Where does she go?
Back downstairs. to the table that she has taken hostage, and her books are on, and little doodads and shit. She goes back to her journal and starts writing in it again.
You take out your usual table, Ivy.
Yep.
Which is where in the room would you think?
Where was it the last time?
Wherever you imagined it.
Yeah.
I think it's in a corner in the back.
You're sitting at a table in the corner in the back, probably close to the fireplace that is in the room. You can see the sun coming in from the ceiling, which you now realize is actually made of glass, as different colors are cascading down from it. It's made of stained glass, and it's peaceful. There's not very many people around. A couple people having, brunch, chatting, but for the most part, you're left to your own devices there.
Yeah, I think she's reading. She's writing. You think about 2 hours later, Bia comes trotting down.
Have you make a perception check for me?
15 plus 6.
Jesus. I always get jump scared by your perception.
She's a perceptive bitch. I don't know what to tell you.
So after maybe about 20 or 30 minutes, you start to get that feeling, that sensation in the back of your head where you feel like you're being watched. And so does Bia. Bia gets the same feeling. And in fact, for Bia, it's a little more intense. With your perception, you realize that behind the bar, from the side of it, you kind of see 2 sets of eyes peeking over the counter, and then they disappear.
She raises her eyebrows.
You see them, you see a flash of color go by, and then you see them peeking around the corner, one on top of the other, looking at you. They think they're so stealthy. They think that you have no idea that they're watching, that it is the twins.
She pretends like she's not watching.
Eventually, they start crawling along the floor underneath the table.
Yeah.
Under the table line of sight, and they pass by, and they go around, and they go right up to Bia.
Bia's just staring at them, I think. Her brows furrowed. She's just staring at them.
They stare at you. One set of purple eyes and one a mix of purple and blue. Yeah, they just they're there watching Bia very intently, studying her, eyes blown wide with amazement. And then the girl, the one in the frilly pink dress, reaches into a pocket that is in this frilly pink dress and pulls out a stick of bacon, and she hands it to Bia.
Bia instantly eats it. It's gone in a flash.
Ivy, you hear giggling under the table.
I think, without looking up from her book, Ivy goes, "Are you painting a portrait of Bia or something? Is there a reason why you're staring at her like this?"
You're, oh! And then there's a smack on the table.
Oh my god.
And you hear, ow.
She looks underneath the table.
The little one with the light brown hair and the purple eyes and the frilly pink dress is holding her head in misery as she just smacked it. And the boy the boy with the 2 colored eyes is fucking bursting out laughing.
She's hanging upside down a little bit, how you look under a table. She's like, "Are you okay?"
"Yeah, I'm fine. You just scared me a little. How did you know we were here?"
"I have a 6th sense."
Oh, and the boy's like, "Oh, that's so cool."
She nods and she straightens up. "Are you going to answer my question about Bia or..."
Can I go with the or option?
"No."
Why?
"Are you going to answer my question about Bia or are you going to leave?" That's that's the 2. I don't know what we're doing here. What are you doing?
We're gathering information. It's a super secret stealth mission. Willow just the girl in the dress just smacks her brother's arm and is like, "Stop it. You're not supposed to say what we're doing. Spies don't tell people what they do."
They do sometimes.
Do they?
Yes, especially when they've been caught.
Well, I've just never seen something like Bia before, and she's really cute.
She is, and she knows it. Do you want to play with her? Or...
Can we?
Sure.
I would love to play with her. Their eyes are blown even brighter somehow. It's doesn't seem possible.
Just don't let her hurt you, I guess.
Oh, okay. Come play with us, Bia.
Bia, like, looks between Ivy and the twins, like, are you sure about this? And Ivy pushes her off the table, and Bia follows the kids.
Amazing. They go running out the back door, and the little girl's like leading Bia with bacon. She has so much bacon in her pocket. You realize now that the pocket that she took bacon out is actually bulged out a little bit. She is so stoked.
Bia's flying after them having spotted the bacon.
Amazing. You don't know what kind of shenanigans they're about to get up to, but you have a feeling that Bia may be distracted for quite a bit.
Yeah, which she's fine with.
This whole time, Ivy, I think you noticed that the Aarakocra siblings that you all had seen the first night when you all came to Ozrin are sitting at a table kind of like a little bit of ways across from you. And the male, this whole time he's had like his hand on his cheek, resting on the arm of his wheelchair, and he's just been like staring at that exchange with like a smile on his face. And when Bia and the kids leave, he actually comes over to your table. His sister was sitting at the table with him, not paying attention at all, just like taking notes. It looks like she's like very focused, and she barely looks up as he starts to come over to you. He comes up to your table and he goes, "They are a handful, aren't they?"
They really are.
He smiles and nods, and he puts his hand out, and you see he has wings that are like small wings that are folded in behind his chair. And he puts his hand out and he goes, "I'm Carrick. I've seen you here the past couple of days."
Yes, and she shakes his hand and she goes, "My name is Ivy.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Do you, know Zath and Nim well?"
A recent acquaintance, but they're great."
He smiles. "Oh, they are. You'll have to forgive me." And he lowers his voice a little bit as you watch the female Aarakocra stand up and go over to the bar, looking very determined. He goes, "I have a feeling my sister is about to make a fool of herself, and I am just looking for a little bit of a distraction."
In what way?
He like takes a deep breath and he goes, "You'll see. I just hope maybe if I'm here, the frustration won't be put on me and will be solely put on her, because I've told her to just leave it be, but she's very strong-willed." And at that, you watch her like knock her. She knocks 3 times at the bar.
Ivy rests her fist on her, like her chin on her fist as she watches.
He also rests his and like kind of leans a little bit closer to you, like smiling.
Yes, I'm coming. And you see around the corner comes a familiar person, Nim. Walks around kind of like wiping her hands off on a cloth. Says, Velda, what can I do for you?"
She smiles. "Is Zath not working today?"
"Oh, he is, but he's,
Avoiding me?
No, he's taking care of some things downstairs."
I can just go down and talk to him real quick?
No.
Okay. Well, then I just wanted to let you know that if he is going to continue to refuse to tell me what happened in Grimford, we are leaving tonight, and we are going there, and we are going to get the story for ourselves.
Okay. Well, I will remind you that when gathering information, Velda, no matter if you've known them well or not, you should always be very respectful of their time and be patient when they've suffered something that may or may not be traumatic. Sometimes people aren't ready to talk about what happened, and you need to be respectful of that.
She like blinks her eyes a couple of times, and anyone watching can see that she's like trying to temper her temper.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of like leans in, I think, and like whispers a little bit, and she goes, "People deserve to know the truth."
I don't disagree, but I think that it's important to recognize that getting the truth can be tricky and requires patience.
If I am patient, what will happen all the times before will happen again. I've already received reports that Grimford, or what's left of Grimford, is crawling with guards, and Councilman Safendars is apparently coming up from Ixalan, and the Sigi is there. They're saying that we won't be able to get even close to it without having to sneak in, and I just figured that, and she like sighs, "Zath was there. Why won't he just tell me what's going on?"
I can think of a number of reasons, one of which being that he doesn't want to talk about it. Another being that he worries, as I worry, that you two will go and get yourselves in trouble. It's dangerous, especially if you're right and the Sigi are involved.
So we're supposed to just sit by and let them bury this like the town is buried. I'm not afraid. I just think that the people deserve to know what's really going on, and there is something going on.
I know, and
I'm going to find out.
I don't disagree. I'm not arguing that people don't deserve to know the truth. I think they do, and it's very important. And it's not right that things get buried, and I understand your frustration. I just wish you were more careful with it.
She shakes her head. We'll be leaving tonight. And she turns around and storms up the stairs.
I think she deflates, puts her hands on the bar, and you see her hand hang her head, and the curls that have come loose from her updo kind of hang down by her chin a bit. Takes a couple deep breaths, and you can see the her arms are tense, the muscles flexed.
Carrick is not making eye contact with her.
When she straightens up, she looks at Carrick.
He looks at her.
She gives a little half smile, nods to Ivy, and turns around and goes back into the kitchen. You start hearing the sound of dough being beaten to shit.
Carrick lets out an exhale. Thank you for bearing witness to my daily life.
Your daily life?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a tortured existence.
She means well. She really does. She's headstrong.
Oh, really?
Just slightly. A little bit, yes.
Hmm.
She hides it well.
Truly, I would have never guessed.
I know. He looks at you and kind of cocks his head and he goes, You weren't by any chance in Grimford, were you?
Let me ask you a question first. Why does she care so much?
We are solo investigative journalists, I guess, is what she would call us. There are a lot of things that go on around here that the higher-ups like to bury and keep out of the public eye. An entire town sinking underground, and they're already saying it's a natural disaster, and the stories coming out of there tell a very different tale. Our home was destroyed when we were children, and they buried the truth. And I guess she doesn't want that for other people. So we go around and we try to tell the truth, no matter the repercussions.
She nods. And I think she leans back in the chair a bit, folds her arms, and she goes, Do you know anything about the Cult of Mourning?
I'm gonna make a history check. Natural 1. I know absolutely nothing about the Cult of Mourning.
Beautiful. Could your sister, maybe? I'm assuming she's your sister?
She is. The resemblance is very strong. He goes, I've been told, though, I have a way better smile than she does.
I haven't seen a smile, so I would assume you do.
He goes, that's probably why they say that, now that I think about it.
She laughs a bit, and she goes, I would start there and end there with a sinkhole.
He smiles and he kind of taps his knuckles on the table twice, and he goes, It was very nice meeting you, Ivy.
It was nice meeting you as well.
I am going to try to calm my dear sister.
Good luck.
And convince her that maybe we should wait a few more days before going to Grimford. But if I never see you again, it's because we're there.
I would highly recommend not going back there. She taps her knuckles on the table and she's like, emphatically, I would recommend you not go there.
I bet if you would sit down with Valda and tell her maybe some of the stuff that you know, she might not want to go as badly, or she might want to go more. But either way,
she'll want to go more. What if you were to find or be given an account of what happened on a piece of paper?
I think that would be extremely helpful.
Give whoever is going to write that piece of paper half a day.
I think I can arrange that.
She nods.
I'll see you in half a day, Ivy.
It won't be me writing the paper, but who knows?
I will see some person in half a day.
Correct.
But I hope I see you as well.
She nods.
And he goes off to find his sister.
And she rips a page out of her book and starts writing.
Okay. What's next, guys?
Well, I gotta know. What's Elara been up to this whole time?
Yeah.
She's just been working on projects.
What projects?
She's working on her salve. She 100% is looking at those pieces of paper that slipped out of the back of the spell book.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of strange, and I'm gonna make her make like an investigation check on what she's able to read and find. That's really good. She got an 18 on the die for a total of 26. The paper is really old, like old. It's very brittle. And she's looking at schematics of some sort. But there are arcane as well as mathematical and scientific equations that she has never, like, she wouldn't even know where to begin putting them together. They are so foreign to her. There are runes on there that she has never seen before. There's also some notes. There are the initials AR circled at the bottom of each of the pages. And there are just kind of scribbled words written. She puts together that this is some sort of device. There is the word Nexus location on there. It says Nexus location. And then it says hold Osalia's essence, ? And then on one of the other pages, it says need conduit. And then it says God touched ? Planar touched ? With some more equations. It's very strange because I think, and especially with like a 26, if you asked her, she would say that the paper is like pre-Forsaking paper. It's that old. But the technology and the equations that are written on there are way more advanced than anything that she has ever seen. So like it almost doesn't make sense how something so old could be so advanced. So I think that she spends so much of her brain power going through her rune book and trying to just find some correlation to something, anything, to the point of like exhaustion, I think, because this is a puzzle that she can't really piece together right now.
Sounds like she's found something pretty incredible.
Maybe.
The wheels are spinning.
The wheels are spinning indeed.
Do you think she does that into the night?
Yeah, I think she spends like a couple of days on it.
A couple of days, okay. Well, unless there's anything else anyone else would like to do.
What's Véres been up to? We have not seen Véres.
Véres has been just helping out around the tavern, really. I think Ivy, because Elara hasn't really left her room, unless she's looked out a window at all.
She does. She sits by her window, tending to her little microorganisms.
So I think that Elara has seen Véres come and go out the back a couple of times throughout the day, where he's like gone out the back and left the grounds. And then she's also seen him like coming in and out with like barrels. Ivy has seen him in the kitchen, going down, like going out back, disappearing for a couple of hours. She's seen him help out with lunch and supper rush. Really, and then she's also seen him like disappear for a couple of hours. But really, that's about it. Most of the time, he's just been helping out with the tavern or dicking around with the twins. Occasionally talking to Ember a couple of times.
Has Ash made an appearance?
I think Ash has been still recuperating and not wanting to be around the hustle and bustle of the inn.
I think when Ivy does see Zath, she inquires about Ash.
I think that whenever you see food go up for Elara around like lunch and dinner, and occasionally breakfast if she's ever awake during that time, you see 2 plates of food going up.
Aw.
And when you find out from Zath that Ash is still kind of resting, you put 2 and 2 together that the other plate is probably for Ash.
Okay, so I want to know, what does Véres do when he goes outside?
So I think he's just out there stretching right now.
What's the weather like?
I think that it's mostly sunny outside. There's some scattered clouds. I don't think that it's super warm, but it's not cold by any means. There's a little gentle breeze that makes it a bit crisp. It's a nice spring day.
Okay. I think when it's nice out, Ivy goes outside and like either reads or writes or hangs out with Bia, like plays with Bia, just for a change of pace.
I think that's fair. The back area isn't often used by stayers at the inn. Usually folks who are like in midst of adventures or have reason to practice with weapons go out back to kind of go in the training area, which is like mostly a dirt pit the wall on the back, some targets as we had seen before. A couple of weapons. They're leaning in like a hangar with an overhang kind of roof on top to protect them from the elements. There are some chairs out back though.
She's on one of those chairs right now reading.
Is she already out there when he comes out? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think it takes him a second to notice that you're there because you're being quiet.
Yeah, it takes her a minute to notice that he's there too.
Yeah. I think he just kind of like gives her a little wave, not wanting to disturb her reading because God forbid that you ever interrupt a reader mid-book. He's just going to stretch. He looks like he's waiting for someone.
I think after a couple sets or like repetitions of stretching or whatever, she's like, are you limbering up for someone? Should I vacate the premises or?
Why would you need to vacate the premises?
I don't know what you get up to in your spare time.
He thinks about it a second.
You're doing a lot of like hamstring stretches and like, I don't know.
I think that he walks over to the weapon stand and like takes out a sword, gives it a practice swing to test the balance, and says, that is because I'm about to have the fight of my life.
Who did you piss off?
Oh, no one. I asked Zath to teach me a few things. Or to spar with me at the very least.
R.I.P. in pieces.
Bold of you to assume that I'm going to die, but...
Ivy looks up at Elara's window. Can we see Elara?
Perception check.
No, there's no sign of Elara at the moment.
I think Ivy goes back to reading until Zath comes out. So after a little bit of stretching, Véres, you start hearing a sound that you know pretty well, which is metal clanking on metal as somebody walks closer to you.
I think he rolls his eyes. He nods a little to himself like, of course he would. I may actually die.
Ivy looks up as Zath comes through the door in just full fucking plate. He's got his like helm on and everything.
Véres closes his eyes and summons patience.
And you hear from behind the helm, 1 second.
Ah! I knew it.
You hear from behind the helm, like muffled, are you ready?
Véres looks at him, gives the sword like a little spin and sticks it in the ground and puts his hand on his hip. Raises an eyebrow. He's like, you're going to fight me in that.
What, do you think I can't do it?
Oh no, I fully think you could. But, I think you're going to get unnecessarily sweaty for a sparring session.
Ivy is fucking giggling as she's watching this. And then you see Zath nods and he arduously starts removing his armor, leaving the helm on.
I think Véres just laughs and comes over, shaking his head, and starts helping, like, remove all the straps. Like he's done this a million times.
Finally, when Zath is out of the plate and just in, like, regular leather armor.
Véres, like, gives him a concerned look. You wore 2 layers of armor?
Listen, I knew that we were not going to do this in the plate, and I didn't want to have to put the leather on after I had just done all of that to take it off. So, action economy.
I'm obsessed with the idea that you put on entire plate mail for a joke. Your wife must be thrilled.
Yes. Thrilled is a word that I would not use to describe what she was. Mainly because I had to take it out of the case that it's in order to do this. She stopped me from bringing the sword, so...
Small mercies indeed. I'm very, very glad that you're no longer active.
Why not?
I would hate to be on the receiving end of that blade.
That is true.
Not all of us are flame resistant,
Which is very much a flaw in design, isn't it? Zath picks up a sword and twirls it around in his hand. And he goes, all right, Véres, are you ready?
As I'll ever be. Appreciate you doing this.
Of course. It'll be fun for me.
And anyone who's watching, I'm sure.
I'm very excited to watch, if we're being honest. Ivy calls.
You see Ash up in their window, just like with their elbows propped on the windowsill watching. It's the first you've seen them.
Ivy waves.
They wave back.
You also see Ember lean against the back entryway, and the twins have climbed up on top of the overhang over the weapons and are sitting there with their arms perched on their legs, like they're crisscrossed. Just like balancing their head on top of their hands, watching.
I may have announced it at dinner last night that
Hey, breakfast in a show.
there is a running bet, just so you're aware.
Why am I not surprised?
The bet is mainly about how long it takes for you to hit me.
A long time. But I'm excited to try. And he gives the sword another test spin and gets in a fight and gets in a little stance.
Zath just twirls the sword in his hand and raises it up, and he's like, all right, you first.
Bro, just for the imagery for everyone, bro is swinging around a long sword like it's a fucking short sword.
Mm-hmm. He's like twirling the grip in his hand, one-handed.
The more Véres watches him do this, the more he knows he's about to get his ass handed to him. But with that, let's roll for initiative, shall we?
Do it.
That is a 21.
I have 20 for Véres.
I have 3 for Lauren.
She joining?
Lauren's gonna throw rocks from the window.
Yeah.
As you take your stance, you hear Bia start chittering in the background, and both Ivy and Bia are watching with rapt attention. Ivy has a singular hand, like, on top of Bia's neck to make it so that she doesn't try to fly over. So Zath is going to raise his sword, and he's gonna run up, anime style.
Oh boy.
And take a big old swing at you.
Wonderful. There's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
25 to hit.
Yeah, that fucking hits.
So I'm gonna say at the top that this is all gonna be non-lethal damage.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put that out there. Non-lethal. We're not like using the sharp end of the swords here. We're flipping.
Yeah.
They've been dulled.
Okay, 16 points of damage.
Awesome.
Oh my god.
Plus 1d8.
Oh, plus 1, that's true.
Why?
Because he automatically gets radiant damage.
Oh.
So this long sword hits you, and I think it hits the sword, but it reverberates so hard that the radiant damage sort of like swings up your arms. That is 21 points of damage.
Awesome. First hit, Véres gets his shit rocked. You watch this dude like meet the sword head on. His arms almost shake with the impact, and the dirt, he actually slides backwards from the impact of Zath. You watch like this almost like black with a slight outline of white glow go up the arms of Véres, and he winces again as like some sort of secondary effect takes over from Zath's hit.
Good job keeping your guard.
Thank you. Zath does get 2 attacks in a round.
As he's saying good job keeping your guard, he's gonna take another swing. So that's a 16 to hit.
That just hits. Yeah, meets it, beats it.
It's 22 points of damage.
He's not down.
I think he knocks you upside of the head with the flat end of the sword.
Véres takes a second to like shake his head to clear it. Obviously his ears are ringing right now. The impact's almost sent him whirling.
He just hears Ivy yell, holy shit.
Véres shakes his head, kind of like doubles down and like gets serious about this. This isn't playful anymore, despite him wanting it to be. He also wants to actually learn something from Zath. So after he shakes his head clear and like refocuses, there's like a sharpness in his gaze as he goes into a quiet rage.
Zath smiles wide.
He smiles back at him and he's going to take an attack. He only gets 1.
Womp womp.
That is a 22 to hit.
That hits.
Awesome. So that's 11 points of slashing damage. I think that he just kind of, when he refocuses, he's like pushes back against Zath's sword, actually managing to get a bit of distance between them now, and comes back underneath Zath's guard and takes a hit at the side. And that's all he can do in this round.
Zath nods. He goes, good job. And you hear the twins groan because they just lost the bet. And Zath is going to draw back and make 2 more attacks.
Awesome. Véres braces himself for all that he's worth.
It's an 18 to hit.
That hits, yeah.
That is a 19 to hit.
Okay, they both hit.
First one is 18 points of damage. Second one is also 18 points of damage. I think with the flat end of his sword, again, he clips you in the hip and then immediately swings around to the other side of your body and clips you on the other side of the hip to show how quick you need to be to make 2 attacks in a row.
I don't think that he even gets to absorb that, as Véres gets hit the second time and collapses on the ground with his head spinning. He's reduced to 0 hit points. So he actually drops to the ground, tries to focus and shake it off, but he ends up falling unconscious.
As he goes out, he hears Zath go, "Oh shit."
You hear from the door, "Honey, I told you to be careful with him."
I was. Véres wakes up to the feeling of little feet frantically going across his body.
Was it Bia?
It's Bia.
Yeah. I think that he wakes up, he groans in pain and laughs. "Hello, Bia."
She licks his face.
"I'm all right." Just pats her head.
Zath is sitting next to him like crisscross applesauce. "So, did you learn anything?"
I don't think I lasted long enough to learn much. I learned not to fight you. That's what I learned.
I mean, you did hit me. I got
Sure.
a little bruise.
Sure. And he stands up, he shakes it off, he's like, "All right, let's go again." And he fucking puts the short sword back though and actually summons his scythe.
Zath is like, "Are you sure?"
"Oh no, I'm completely sure. I'm expected to get thrown around a little. I actually want to learn something, so by all means."
All right. And he raises his sword again. And Ivy's just like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, Véres doesn't care that he's gonna get thrown around, it seems.
Is Elara watching yet?
Yeah, you can see her at the window, tending to her microorganisms.
"So, Zath, I actually want to learn something from you, so do you mind?" And he cringes a bit that he's even asking this. He's like, "Could you pull your punches a little?"
Sure. I was just waiting for you to ask.
Véres shakes their head. Obviously, a little pride's a tiny bit wounded for having to ask, but it is what it is.
Zath drops the sword
Ah, come on.
and puts his fists up.
Véres looks at him oddly and just nods yeah. This isn't gonna last long if you use your sword, essentially is what he's thinking.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's a little bit of extra oomph in my sword.
No, you don't say.
And I think this would probably be a little bit more fair for you.
What is it?
Véres, it's the vibes.
A bit of righteous fury, if you will.
You could call it that.
Fair enough. Véres gets in stance again, and we're gonna roll initiative one more time.
That's a dirty 20.
Zath is gonna go second this time.
Ooh.
That's 26 for Véres. So it looks like
Wow.
he's rearing to go. I think that he is gonna bonus action rage preemptively again to save his ass and make this go a little longer. I think he crouches down a bit and lunges for him with the scythe. He's going for from the left side. He's going to swing diagonal across. He's not going for actual lethal damage, so he's using the dull end of the blade.
Roll.
Dirty 20 to hit.
That hits.
That is 11 points of dulled slashing damage, bruising damage. As I think he gets Zath in the shoulder.
Yeah, you definitely get him in the shoulder. He grunts a bit, and then he is going to take a swing at your head with his fists.
Cool.
That is a 23 to hit.
That definitely hits.
So that's going to be 9 bludgeoning to the head.
I think that Véres braces for it, waiting for the divine retribution this time around for the extra oomph, but it doesn't come. He doesn't show that he's really, but he is a little bit. And he's going to take another attack. So he flips the scythe and kind of spins it in his hands, and he flips the pole around the back of his neck, around the shoulders, and comes around the right, and goes for a slash on the right shoulder this time.
Ivy cheers.
22 to hit.
That hits.
Awesome.
Elara is glancing from the window.
That's 15 points of bruising damage. I would like you all to know that Zath has 117 hit points, so there's no way he's going down.
It's gonna be a long morning.
Yep.
Yeah. So you do this fancy ass maneuver. Zath is gonna go for your solar plexus.
Oh
Boy.
That is a 24 to hit.
That definitely fucking hits. Yep.
So 9 points of bludgeoning damage to your solar plexus.
Ouch. Okay. I think it wins him a bit, and I think that the impact from Zath's fist by itself sends her sliding back a little bit towards the wall.
You hear the twins go, ooh.
You hear Ember clapping their hands. Just like, fuck about dad.
He sends a thumbs up to his kids.
Language, Ember. You hear Nim from the doorway. Sorry, Mom. Véres takes a second to catch his breath, but not too long. And he's gonna go.
Natural 20?
It is the natural 20.
Hey!
So I think that when he regains his breath and sense of self, because that fucking winded him bad, I think that he lunges forward and goes for like an over the top swing, hitting Zath in the head, essentially.
Yeah, you beamed this man.
So what's your damage die?
What's my damage?
What's your damage
What's your
die?
damage?
What's my damage? So we don't double the pluses, it's only added once.
It's your max damage die plus whatever you roll plus your plus.
So that's 23 points of bruising damage
Nice.
as he gets Zath, I think, in the back of it, and then kind of like whips the scythe back with a under the hand spin and puts the scythe on his shoulder waiting for Zath's attack.
You hear a clap from the window.
I think you do that, and you just hear Zach go, oh, fuck, as he just goes to punch your face.
Going for the fuck, he's going for it.
That is a 24 to hit.
That definitely hits, yeah.
So yeah, 9 points of bludgeoning damage as he hits you in the face.
Ooh, fuck.
I think it's a reaction.
Yeah.
You beat him on the head, and he goes, oh.
I think Véres whips his head back and you just see blood.
Aww.
You hear Bia like screech, and Ivy's like, Bia's fine, he's fine. He's getting fucked up, but he's fine.
I think Véres just laughs. It's like, caught you off guard that time.
Zath goes, you got lucky.
Did I? And he takes another hit. I think he goes and gets onto one of the barrels for some leverage. Just having fun with it. He's gonna try to lead Zath onto the wall for some balance training. It's another natural 20.
Oh my god.
Véres is quickly going to become Icarus if he doesn't stop.
He's fully expecting it. He knows he's gonna get his ass handed to him in the end, but might as well have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
That's 18 points of bruising damage, and I think he goes for the shoulder. And then he's gonna use the rest of his movement to jump onto the wall. And like he does a come hither motion.
Zath flips him off, but definitely follows up onto the wall. And he is going to what is this man gonna do? He's gonna punch you in the stomach.
Oh, okay.
It's a 26. So he gets you right in the gut.
Yeah, I think Véres sees white for a second. You just hear him cough. He tries to hold back his breakfast. He kind of like swings the scythe down over the wall and brings it back up to get Zath under the chin. 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
14 points of bruising damage. And he takes a step back, keeping balance on the wall.
Zath grunts a bit and he goes, you're doing very well.
So are you. You know, anytime you feel like it's not enough, you can stop pulling punches if you want to.
He kicks you. He kicks you in the stomach.
Oh!
That is a dirty 20 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Yeah, so he kicks you in the stomach.
I think that the momentum of that sends him flying back on the wall, like along it a couple of feet. And he just... Let me make a dexterity save for him. Yeah, he just manages to recatch his balance. You see him like wobble a bit.
Zath like slowly brings his leg down from that pose. You know, the side profile pose of the person who like kicks their feet out and they've got their like arms up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, are you sure you want me to stop pulling my punches?
If you want to, Either way, I'm having fun, so. And I feel like I'm learning something.
You're learning how to get your ass handed to you.
With grace. And I think Véres is going to come around from the other side for a slash. Does a 15 hit?
It does not.
No? Okay, so Véres misses Zath, and I think that when he brings it up from below, trying to, like, catch Zath off guard, like, it's because it's out of his peripheral. I think that he misses him as Zath just, like, leans to the side.
Yeah, he's, like, casually dips his head out of the way, and he looks at him. He's gonna kick him again. 22 to hit.
That hits.
Yeah, so he kicks you again.
He's doing real good. The only thing that's saving his ass is honestly the rage.
The rage.
The quiet rage. That's a dexterity saving throw for him. You guys think a 15 is fine for the wall?
Yeah.
He takes a moment, rebalances himself. And I think that he's going to lunge forward and go with, like, jabbing him with the top of the scythe.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 19 to hit.
That hits.
So that's AC right now is somewhere between 15 and 19. That's 10 points of bruising damage to the stomach.
I think that knocks the wind out of him a little bit.
Ooh.
He exhales sharply, and he nods, impressed. And then he punches you in the nose. For a nat 20.
Oh!
The nose punch. Elara goes, not the moneymaker.
Not the moneymaker.
That's a dex save for Véres, I think, at disadvantage. And he does not make it.
With a glazed look in his eye, he just crumbles.
It was a 12 dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Like, Zath fucking wails him in the face. Breaks his nose.
Oh my god.
Which he has no issue with. You see, like, blood splatter on his face. And he falls off the wall. This isn't a small wall. This is, like, the part that they're on is, like, 30 feet up.
Zath goes to reach for him. He doesn't want it to fall 30 feet.
Is Elara within 60 feet?
She is just within 60 feet.
Without a word, she throws her hand out. And you see these little, like, gold sparkling nanobots fly over to Véres, surrounding their falling body as she casts Featherfall. And you gently float to the ground in the motion of, like, a feather. You just kind of sway back and forth.
Véres looks confused.
So does Zath. Zath has a hand reached out and he's just watching.
He has the scythe in one hand, his hand pinching his nose with the other and, like, wincing, and, like, blood is just, like, coming out of his nose. He looks, but he's like, what the fuck is happening to me?
You feel the sweet caress of the nanobots as they gently glide you to the ground.
Everybody looks so confused. Ivy's like, what the fuck? She looks up at Elara's window.
Elara waves.
Ivy points to Véres and then points to Elara.
She nods.
She gives a thumbs up.
I think he lands on the ground, and you watch Nim leave the door and come over immediately.
Aww.
And she sets his nose.
Zath is gonna jump down from the wall.
Zath also feels. Does he really jump down?
Yeah.
Alara's other hand flies out.
You see this man, like, gear up to jump.
Feels the sweet caress of the nanobots as he gently sways back and forth like a feather to the ground.
The nausea is all I imagine.
He gets on the ground and he's like, I'm okay.
Elara waves.
he like gives sort of like a half wave back, confused, and he goes and pats Véres' shoulder, and Yeah, you get all of it.
All the lay on hands.
Ferris is way past healed.
Véres gets a shot of adrenaline straight to the face.
He's like, Varys like looks up and like his eyes are all wide. The blood is stopped, his nose is set, it's fine. He's fine again. The bruises are pretty much gone. And he's just sore and he's just like, ow.
Zath just nods. You ready for round 3?
Absolutely. I think that for the afternoon, Varys is just going to keep getting his ass kicked, and eventually Zath will be able to reintroduce both hands. He's going to be able to catch these hands.
I think Ivy's like full on watching the whole time. She doesn't even like pick her book back up again. She's just watching with her chin resting on her fist. Almost like she's reminiscing about something too as she watches. Thanks so much for listening. We're incredibly grateful for the love and support.
And P.S. if you want more content, check out our Patreon for free clips, bonus scenes, and if you join the Red Rogues, you'll get access to the Rainbow Dice Club chat and after show where we talk about past episodes.
If you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review and tell your friends about us.
Special thanks to our Green Fiend Patreon supporters, Jen Bear and Michael.
And with that, our story pause is here for today. Join us next time as we continue our adventures, and remember, it's never too late to start your own.
Bye! Zath and Mom. He doesn't say Zath and Mom, he says like dad and Mom. He's having a hard time with Zath right now. No.
Be like, okay.
So with Dad and Mom. But they're the only ones I've seen.
What does the apron say?
It does not say anything. It's just a
Suck
white
it and
apron.
fucking.
This is where I wish I was a wizard or something, but that had prestidigitation.
Kiss the cook or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does not say anything.
Kiss the cook.
Is my mic close enough now?
No one said it was too far.
Oh.
Did we say it was too far?
Is my mic too close now? I guess. No, it needs to be closer. You have to deep throat it.
Is this close enough now?
That's so close.
Ow.
These fucking cars, Jesus Christ.
Elara, what are you saying?
It must have been. No.
That's why I was like, talk about your feelings.
We'll get there.
I was gonna be like, Ivy, you go to reach for the doorknob to get out, but it's locked.
It's locked. And you just see a note slip underneath the door that says talk.
It's not even locked. Véres is just standing there holding the doorknob. They climb out the fucking window and wind up breaking their legs to get away from each other.
So we don't have to talk.
Yeah.
You just sit there in silence.
That's what. No, they would just go into like how can we escape this room?
Yeah.
Then it just became an escape room. And trust me, with enough time, Elara would have figured out. She would have burned a hole in the floor. Like, well, I got this acid here. Okay, so
that would be funny as shit. But anyway,
does Ivy even know like what the name of the cult is? Do we know that?
Yes.
Okay.
We learned in
the Cult of Mourning. We learned it in the Science Guild.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's either the Cult of Sorrows or the Cult of Mourning. That's what you learned.
Mourning, I think.
Yeah. Well, he said it was either the Cult of Sorrows or the Cult of Mourning.
And we don't know for sure which one it was.
No, it wasn't confirmed.
Well, you were laying on the table when Onyx was like,
the Cult of Mourning.
Yeah. Yes.
So it was Ivy laying on the table. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. No, that's
You
true.
were there. You were literally
I was there. I was the only one who was there.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure he was like, we are the Cult of Mourning.
Véres and Elara don't know, but Ivy does.
No. Don't we do know because we were in the room when he shouted it.
Oh, that's right. We were all in the room at that point. Sorry.
So we know.
Cult of Mourning.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the Cult of Mourning?
Mourning?
He goes, moaning.
I have a British fucking accent. Don't do this to me.
The Cult of Mourning.
Yeah, she's not going to do any sort of interview, but she will write an account of what happened. Objectively.
Cool.
She's not going to be like, and then a fucking bone wolf appeared.
And then Bone Wolf came out. From the
I
window
would think so.
To the wall.
They're like, wow. Till the Véres drops down the wall.
Till all these nanobots crawl.
That was funny as shit.
That was, he was at 69 health points.
Oh my god.